Hey guys, I'm Joe, and this is a Bradford Built Fence. Hey guys, I'm Joe, and we're here at the Conway Human Development Center, and we're just wrapping up this tan vinyl privacy with lattice. We've got a few more pieces of the lattice and top row to put on, so I'm going to show you what we got going on. I think I'm going to have to get on the inside though with all our things. All right, so at this project, these two spots, there's two buildings that we did all together, almost 500 feet of this vinyl privacy with lattice. We did a project like this, we did in 3 days. We set all the posts the first day, and then it took us 2 days to run our rails, put the pickets, and finish everything out. With this project, so all this was chain link, and some of the kids here were jumping and getting out. So for security reasons, they needed something more secure and to contain them. So they went with the vinyl for something more secure and to provide some privacy there. If you're doing a vinyl fence or looking for a vinyl fence for your own home, that there's different aspects that you want to consider and look at. Like with this particular fence, we use a 8-inch wide rail for our privacy panels, which gives it a lot of strength and stability. We also have a 5x5 post here, and it's a thick post with a very strong rail, so it's really sturdy and solid. But if you're comparing different products, there's products you can find at the big box stores or online that are going to be thinner material, smaller profiles. So you want to keep that in mind, especially when you're looking at pricing and just comparing things. It's not just a blanket like, hey, this is a vinyl fence. You want to look into how thick is my post, how big is my rail, how many rails are you going to have, are my pickets tongue and groove where they lock into each other, or is it just a thin cheap plastic that's going to be attached to the fence. So those are definitely things to look at too. You've also got different grades of vinyl. You've got virgin vinyl, which is a pure plastic. You have some like a gray back, which is some that may be a recycled material, but then has just an outer coating of the particular color that you're looking at. And then there's also import products that you got to watch. Some are okay, some are not so good. So you want to know where your material's coming from, and the thickness and the grade of it when you're comparing those products. All right, so we got the last piece of lattice put in here. We had all this fence together. We were short a few pieces of lattice, so all we were doing, this top rail has a cutout or a groove that lattice fits into. Then we put on that top rail. It also has a cutout or a groove that fits over the top of that lattice. So that lattice is sandwiched in there between the top and middle rail. On these vinyl systems, they're really nice because these posts are routed where they've got a hole in the post, and then each rail slides into that hole, and then there's a crimp or like a clamp, like a clamp on the it'd be a crimp on the ends of the rail that they're designed to, once they slide in there, there's a couple ears that catch the inside of this post so it can't be pulled out once it's put in there. So it's all interlocking together. All of these pickets are tongue and groove, so they fit together without any spaces or gaps. And then they also are inside. There's a pocket here on this rail and a pocket on this rail that they fit into there, and all really nice system that all comes together. So this one is a privacy with lattice. Here at CHDC, that's what they use on multiple parts of their property. This is the fourth project we've done for them here in this particular style. So with a vinyl installation, it's a little bit unique compared to like a wood, steel, or chain link. In those, we would just stick our post in, then we come back in and run our top lines and trim everything to fit. But with the vinyl, since these holes are already routed in the post to where these rails are going to go, we have to, on the front end, set these posts to the exact height that we want them, so that these rails all come together and that it flows well. So if you see specifically on this section, you're wanting to get your top to flow, and then on this end it actually kind of falls downhill. So we have to take all that into consideration on the front end when we're setting these posts. We're not just throwing these posts in and then being able to trim them to fit. We're having to actually look at the lay of the land, how the grade is changing, and then we're setting each post at the specific height in order to flow right and to transition with the ground. The big work is on the front end, getting the post correct. If you do that correctly, everything goes in smoothly. If you botch the post installation, it can make for either a tough finish install or just not a very good looking finished product. It's once you get your post set, then you're gonna let the concrete set up, and then the first thing we're gonna do on these privacy panels, there's this U-channel piece you see that goes between these two rails on each side of the post. So we screw that U-channel on there, and that just gives a pocket for your picket to start there. So you screw your U-channel on. The next thing would be to install your bottom rail. So your bottom rail slides in, and like the crimps on the ends of them lock them into the post. And then as you're moving along, you're always wanting to put your first end in the open post and then go back to where you've already got rails. Then from there, once you have your bottom rail in place, then you start sliding your pickets in. So the pickets slide into this pocket of this bottom rail, and then they're also tongue and groove. So you start on one end, slide them in, and then you're just putting them against each other, and you fill all that in. Then from there, you're gonna put your mid rail, or if this was privacy, your top rail. Here it's got the same pocket, it fits over the top of those pickets, and then slide that rail in. The lattice slides into that. The lattice here is cut from post to post, so it doesn't actually penetrate into the post. And then the last step is to put your top rail on, which has another groove or pocket that fits over that lattice. So that lattice is up into that rail about that much, and again down into that one, so it holds it there. And the last thing we do is we use some clear PVC glue to glue these caps on the tops of the post. All right, so on these vinyl gates, similar to the composite, these have a metal insert inside of them to stabilize these hinge posts and then give us something to screw these hinges into. So we've got an adjustable hinge here. This is a double gate. Now, something unique about this particular location and how we've done on all their gates is we had to custom fabricate this latch rod, because typically you wouldn't have this space between here. There's about 3 inches there. Typically that'd be closer to about 1 inch on a normal gate. But what they want to be able to do with the workers here and stuff is they want to be able to padlock this on one side and be able to reach through whether they're on the inside or outside. So what we did is we made our gates to where there'd be this 3-inch gap in between, and then we fabricated these latches to have a longer rod that would reach across that gap. So that was something unique about this one, and just a way we could customize it to fit the needs of what they were needing to do here. These vinyl gates, we have the capability, and we typically build them all in-house. Like if you see here, it may be hard to tell, but there's a little bit of a slope as this fence kind of comes down away from the building. So typically if you were to get a vinyl gate pre-ordered or pre-made from a wholesaler or distributor, they're gonna be just a square gate. So if you got your fence coming down at this angle here and then you put a square gate, it's gonna look funny. You're gonna have a gate here and then kind of step down, and it won't flow with this fence line. So what we did is we call it to rack, or to go with the contour of the ground. So when we set these posts, we take specific measurements of how much it falls from this post to that post, and then we do some math on that, and we actually angle and build these gates. That gate follows this grade, and we're able to custom make those to follow your contour of your land. All right, well, I'll show you something on this single gate here. The old fence was chain link, and they had a gate here, and they wanted a vinyl gate. So we were able to set this post here in the ground outside of this sidewalk. But because of the sidewalk and because of the way the building is, we needed a post here to latch to. And so we had to surface mount this post, meaning on the inside of this latch post is a metal post with a plate on it. That plate is anchored to the concrete, and then there's some internal brackets that allow us to slide this vinyl post over that metal insert, and it gives you a really strong post here that can be placed here where there's already concrete, and then gives us something to be able to latch our gate to. All in all, it took us a few days to do this with our crew. If you were going to tackle something like this on your own, to master the setting the post would take some time, where something that could potentially be several weekends of trying to figure things out and putting something in for your backyard would be something that we could come in and do for you in a few days and get it knocked out. For more fences like this, go to bradfordfencing.net, use our online estimator, and get an instant quote on a fence just like this.